Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another great video by Falto. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be doing my own Game Awards. Yay! If you don't know what the Game Awards are, so essentially I'm going to have a bunch of categories, which you will see right up on your screen right about now. And each categories will get a bunch of nominees. Nominees being games that I think fit these categories the best. And from those nominees, I will pick one winner that I think fits the best of all. The only rule to qualify is that I must have played the game, like a decent chunk of it, in the year 2022. And you should note that this video is going to be very subjective, so which makes sense because it's my video, my Game Awards, and obviously, I'm going to be the sole judge for all of these categories. However, there is one exception. There is one category that I asked you guys in Missouri to vote for, and I'm going to be just picking the one that had the most votes in that poll. And I don't want to waste any more time, so I'm going to just cut to the first category because this video is already going to be so long, I can already tell. Okay, so the first category I'm going to talk about is called the Best Comfort. This category is for a game that I felt really relaxed while playing, where it didn't stress me out too much and I could just enjoy the game simply and just have fun. To give you an example is after like a long day, I can just come home, unwind to this game, and just have fun basically. The nominees are Judgment, Persona 5 Royal, Lost Judgment, Yakuza Kiwami 2, and God of War. And the winner is Persona 5 Royal. For this category, to be honest, there is no competition. For this whole year, there has not been a game that I felt so engaged, so relaxed, so happy, that this game, it pretty much sweeps the entire competition when it comes to comfort. I should also mention that I played this game at the start of my summer, where I was already happy by default, so this game gets the upper hand in that area. And as some of you may already know, if I'm in a happy mood, I tend to like a game more compared to if I'm not in a happy mood. And of course, there are some exceptions, such as Xenoblade 2, as I played that when I was not happy, and that did make me happy, but that's usually not the case, so yeah. Okay, so the next category I'm going to talk about is Best Music. This one is self-explanatory. It's basically the game that I think had the best soundtrack overall. The nominees are Final Fantasy VII Remake, Nier Replicant, Nier Automata, Persona 5 Royal, and Persona 3. Before I say the winner, I should mention that there's actually more than just 5 games that I think had great soundtrack, but for the purposes of this video, I just kept it at a 5, but just note that this category was very, very competitive. And the winner is Final Fantasy VII Remake. Picking this one was hard. However, after thinking about it, I think why this game wins is basically due to the sheer volume of songs that I downloaded and how often I listen to them. 2 of my favorites from this game have got to be Bombing Mission and One Winged Angel Rebirth. For One Winged Angel Rebirth, for me it took a while because at first I didn't like it, but then I listened to it more and more and it pretty much grew on me, and I'm like, holy shit, this song is really good. And I'm not gonna lie, but I think this might be the second best One Winged Angel version, only behind Advent Children's one. And as for Bombing Mission, that song was an instant hit the first time I ever listened to it. I still remember my first time playing this game vividly. I downloaded the game and I'm like, please run on my computer, please run, don't crash. And then, I heard this song and I'm like, oh my god, I vibed to this. I'm like, this song is amazing, what the fuck? Yeah, on a small side note, I think Bombing Mission as a start of Final Fantasy VII Remake and Final Fantasy VII as well, I think that might be one of the best starting point to any video game, because a lot of games, they tend to be okay at the start, but they get much, much better later on. But for Final Fantasy VII and Remake, I think their starting point is very high and it kind of stays up there for most of the game, and that's very, very good. And this amazing song, Bombing Mission, it just adds to that hype. It's like an icing on the cake. Alright, moving on, the next award is going to be for Best Visuals / Best Art Style. And to clarify, this doesn't necessarily mean that it's a game that I thought had the most realistic graphics. It could mean that, but it could also mean that it's a game that appealed to my eye the most, art style wise and visually. The nominees are Final Fantasy VII Remake, Persona 5 Royal, Nier Automata, Lost Judgment, and The Last of Us Part 1. And the winner is Final Fantasy VII Remake. For me, the main reason this game wins is because I think this game does a good job at balancing between looking very realistic but also keeping that fantasy/anime look to it. And honestly, in this game I think it works very well and it's very eye appealing. I mean, just look at these game's cutscenes, man. I mean, like, these are so good. Like, honestly, it feels like I'm watching a movie or something. Alright, moving on to the next category, which is Best Story. And this is basically which game had my favorite story, so it's pretty self-explanatory. And the nominees for this categories are Nier Automata, Judgment, Persona 5 Royal, Yakuza 4, and Yakuza 7. The winner is Nier Automata. Now, where do I even begin? Words cannot describe how good of a story this game has. And as a fun experiment, I tried to come up with stuff that was objectively bad story-wise, and guess what? I failed. I legit could not come up with anything that is substantially awful in the story, so that should tell you how good of a story this game has when I can't come up with stuff that's like genuinely bad story-wise. This game might just go down as the best video game narrative in history in my opinion. And I think only Yoko Taro himself can beat it, because like I don't think any other story lives up to this game's story. Like sure, there are close ones, but like I don't think they top this at all. And the cherry on top is this game's ending. Now I'm not gonna spoil it, however I will say that I think it is one of the best endings that I have seen in any form of media. Alright, moving on to the next category, which is Best Gameplay, where it's just a game that I had the most fun with when it comes to the gameplay/combat overall. Anyways, the nominees are Final Fantasy VII Remake, Persona 5 Royal, Lost Judgment, God of War, and The Last of Us Part 1. The winner is God of War. Now, I won't lie, picking a winner in this category was definitely tough, as quite honestly, I wasn't entirely sure if God of War should win or should another game win. That other game being Final Fantasy VII Remake. But God of War takes the edge because not only its gameplay is very solid, but its exploration is very good as well. Like, I genuinely had lots of fun, like, not following the story and just exploring, like, the map, getting all the chests, doing the side quests and stuff. Like, that was very, very fun for me, and that's weird because if you know me, I'm the guy who usually focuses on the story, and I'm very happy with that. So when a game basically makes you want to do side content as well, yeah, that should tell you that, holy shit, I love this game's gameplay. Alright, we're about halfway through the Game Awards, and now I think it's time for a very, very fun topic. And by fun, I mean a very, very degenerate topic, yeah. And the name of this category is Best Horny. Now, I should clarify, this category isn't for which game had like the most horniness / most fan service, but it's more of which game I think implemented its horniness the best. The nominees are Nier Automata, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and Yakuza 0. The winner is Nier Automata. You know, I'm actually not gonna explain why this game wins. I'm gonna just show you the short game clip, and that should pretty much explain why this game wins. Alright, moving on to the next category, which is Favorite Character. And as the name implies, it's basically just a character that I like the most from a game that I played this year. Anyways, the nominees are Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII Remake, 2B from Nier Automata, Makoto Nijima from Persona 5, Risei Kujikawa from Persona 4, and Kiryu Kazuma from Yakuza. And the winner is Yukari Takabe. Just kidding, it's Makoto Nijima. Now, if you know me, you'll know that I'm practically obsessed with her. Now, as for why do I like her? Well, that answer is a bit complex, but I'll try to simplify it. So firstly, I think her design is pretty cool, both the default look and the Phantom Thieves look. She's also got dark hair with red eyes, which I really like in a character. But if I had to pick her most appealing feature for me, it's gotta be the voice. I kid you not, when I heard the English dub, I instantly fell in love with the voice and I'm like, holy shit, this sounds amazing. Not to mention, I think the English voice actress, she did a fantastic job portraying this character. Additionally, I also liked her story-wise. Like when her character arc came like in the main story, like I was really moved by it, and I'm not gonna give details on it for spoilers obviously, but yeah, I think it was pretty well done. And also, I know Persona 5, it has like a weakness where like after the character's story arc is done, they're kind of just left in the background to just exist. However, with Makoto, while that does happen to an extent, however, it doesn't happen completely that she is just kind of vibing. Like she is somewhat, significant to the plot as we, play the story more and more. And again, I could give details on this, but I don't want to give spoilers. So for now, I'll just say Palace 6. Now, I will admit, her confidant isn't the best. Now, I don't hate it, but I know many others, they're like, this is just dog shit and whatever. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I mean, that's not why I like Makoto either way, so it doesn't matter to me too much. But I will say, it definitely is worth it for the ending of the confidant. I think that was pretty nice and cool. And if we're being honest, we all know that the quote-unquote canon romance is Makoto and no one else. Hey, And if you think not so, then you are factually wrong, so cope, I guess. Alrighty, now we're moving on to the best antagonist category. Okay, a quick few notes before I say this category. I am not going to only limit this to the final boss, for example, so I could refer to a minor / side villain / major but not final villain of a game. And also, I will just say the game titles as nominees, not the actual name of the person, because this is to avoid spoilers. And for the winner, I will say a spoiler warning like, hey look, I'm going to talk about spoilers for game X, so you can skip on ahead. Anyways, the nominees are Nier Replicant, Persona 5 Royal, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Lost Judgment, and Yakuza Kiwami 2. The winner is Persona 5 Royal. So until this timestamp, there will be spoilers for Persona 5 Royal, so skip on ahead, I'll give you a few seconds. Alright, so if you're still here, you should have already played Persona 5 Royal or you don't care about spoilers. Anyways, in Persona 5 Royal, I was referring to Dr. Mariki as being a very, very well antagonist. The main reason I like him a lot is, like, he has a point, or I should say that his intentions are not evil, he wants to just help everyone. And it makes you question when you're defeating him, you're like, do I want to fight him? Because he's not trying to, be a quote-unquote stereotypical bad guy trying to kill everyone or something like that. So he really hit me hard, and honestly, I was questioning myself that, do I really want to fight him? Because I kind of, want to live in this world where I have everything I want, basically. However, we should note that that is not reality, and that's basically a fantasy land, and the main reason we do fight him in the end is because we have to basically, face real life's hardship and not live in this la fantasy land. Now, I know I did not do justice describing, the whole final arc in 1 or 2 sentences and probably butchered half of it, sorry for that. I mean, if you're here, you know that the third arc is really good in Persona 5, so yeah. I will also give an honorable mention to Akechi. Now, he was really good in Royal. I know in base game he wasn't the best, but Royal, they really made him a pretty good character, I'd say. Alright, moving on to the next category, which is Best Characters. And this category is simply a game that I felt portrayed his characters very well. You might be asking, what's the difference between this and favorite characters? Well, the answer is that this category is going to be a lot more objective than subjective, as that one was basically subjective. But nevertheless, the nominees are Judgment, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Persona 4 Golden, and The Last of Us Part 1. And the winner is Persona 4 Golden. Now, the main reason I think this game wins is that, honestly, I have not met a more real and natural feeling team than I did in Persona 4. Like, genuinely, most of the characters, they are very well developed and they do not feel like they're tacked on. Like, you know that these guys are like lifelong friends. Well, I guess they will be lifelong friends, but yeah, but like, you know that like they have a natural bond and whatnot. And if you are wondering who my favorite person is, it's gotta be Rise. And as for why? Well, the answer is quite simple. So you see, when I watch/read anime/manga, a trope that I like is that the MC, he ends up dating like the popular girl. And honestly, who can be more popular than an idol? So yeah. Alright, now it is time for the most underestimated category. So to explain what this category is, it is simply a game that caught me off guard, as I didn't expect I would like it as much as I ended up liking. And anyways, the nominees are Judgment, Persona 5 Royal, God of War, and The Last of Us Part 1. And the winner is Persona 5 Royal. And before I say anything about this game, I have to say, this was a landslide victory. Even though The Last of Us Part 1 did caught me off guard as well, like a decent amount. However, between those two games, yeah, Persona 5, it completely takes a crown very easily. The main reason this game wins is that basically I bought this game in May because it was on sale and I thought, okay, just some other random game that I could play on stream. So when I played it, I actually was instantly hooked though. Like, basically, to best describe my reaction to playing this game is this meme. Not to mention, before, I didn't really like turn-based games at all. I'm like, nah, I'm not even gonna try this game if it was turn-based. So yeah, this game, it completely changed my view on turn-based games, basically. Alright, we're nearing the end and now we're on to the best series category. So for this category, I'm going to give it to a whole series that I enjoyed the most. And for the nominees, I just have to have played one game from the series this year, or I guess in 2022 to be more specific. And also, I should have played at least a decent chunk of the series to count. So for example, Final Fantasy. I cannot count that in the best series because I only actually played 2 games completely from like, what, the 15 games you could say. But anyways, you get the idea now, hopefully so. The nominees are Nier, Persona, Xenoblade, The Last of Us, and Yakuza/Judgment. And the winner is Xenoblade. Now, I'm not gonna say much on this category because I think it's kind of obvious that I love this series a lot. You know, especially because I've made so many videos on Xenoblade itself. And plus, how can I forget Xenoblade 2? It started it all. That game is why, basically, I love JRPGs. Like, it led me to discover a new genre that I fell in love with a lot. Alrighty, nearing the end, this is the second last category, and it's the Chill Castles vote. So, a few weeks ago, I made a poll, like, stating all the games that I played in 2022, and I asked you guys to vote on a game from the list. So, this award is just for the game that got the most votes from this poll. And the nominees are going to be the top 5 votes, and they are Nier Automata, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Persona 3, Persona 4, and Yakuza 0. The winner is Xenoblade 3. Okay, for this next part, there will be spoilers for all of the Xenoblades, so I'll give you a few seconds if you don't want to be spoiled. Alright, so if you're still here, you should be okay with Xenoblade spoilers. Alright, so about 12 hours ago, the Nintendo Direct happened, and I'm not gonna dive deep into it because I might do a podcast on this, some folks, so I'll go like more in depth in that. However, I will say that I'm very excited for Xenoblade 3 from this teaser. From the teaser, we saw Shulk, Rex, Faye maybe, and Evil Alvis also. So all of this is making me really hype, and I'm really sorry, but that's all I'm gonna say regarding this because I'm saving the rest for the podcast. So if you're not already subscribed, then you should subscribe so you'll know when that podcast drops. Alright, we're finally on to the very last category, which is Game of the Year. And I don't think I need to explain what this category is. It's basically my favorite game of 2022. And for the final time, the nominees are Final Fantasy VII Remake, Nier Automata, Judgment, Persona 5 Royal, and Yakuza Kiwami. And the winner is Persona 5 Royal. Oh boy, oh boy. I genuinely don't know like where to begin or like how to describe how much I like this game in words, so I will try my best. So when I played it first in the summer of 2022, like I consider that as one of the best time for 2022 because of how much fun I had while playing this game. And not to mention it was also summer for me, so yeah. Also, like I said earlier, I didn't expect to like this game as much as I did because it was turn-based. I'm like, whatever, it's turn-based, I don't really care. But then when I actually played it, I'm like, holy shit, this is really fun! Also, the music, that is just phenomenal. Like, nearly all of the songs are just fantastic and amazing. And you might say, well then Falto, why did they lose to Final Fantasy VII Remake for Best Music? Well, that category was very competitive, so just being nominated in that itself should tell you that, hey look, this is a great OST. And plus, if I did have a second place, I would give it to this game. And now onto the story. And I know this is where many will disagree with me, but hey, this is my Game Awards and my Game of the Year, so I don't care what you think, I'm just going off of what I think here. And if you ask me, I think the story, it's fine. Like, I genuinely liked it, and I was at the edge of my seat for most of the times. And sure, there were some lows, such as bad writing, and I know some characters could have been fleshed out better, but hey, those flaws, they didn't really ruin my experience, and I had lots of fun with the game. Also, just to remind you, I am referring to Royal, not the base game. That is important. Also, we gotta remember, Persona 5, it's not trying to be some sort of deep plot / lore game such as Xenoblade, Nier, or The Last of Us 2 even, I could say. So when it comes to the story, I'm not going to be as critical here. However, I am aware that Persona 2 and Persona 3, they did try this to an extent, but from Persona 4 and onwards, I think they decided to keep it like more simple for the general audience to enjoy, which I don't mind, to be honest. I say that because while I do enjoy like deep plot / lore stuff, but I also like sometimes don't want that. Sometimes I just want to chill, relax, and just enjoy simple things. For simple games like Persona 4 and Persona 5, as long as the story is enjoyable and I had fun, like I don't mind if it's quote unquote worse than Persona 2 and Persona 3's plot. And finally, Makoto. She's from this game. Like, that's another reason I like this game. And there you had it. That was my Game Awards for 2022. And I know this video is pretty late considering that it's already February, but as they say, better late than never, I guess. Nah, but the real reason this video got delayed is because I actually got sick. So I couldn't really record lines for about a week or two, I'd say. It is what it is, you know, stuff happens. And on a final note, if you made it till the end, thank you very much, you know, I appreciate it. And yeah, I will catch you in the next one. Goodbye.
Subscribe to the epic Falto, or else I will use Sacred Arrow and Burning Sword on you and your entire family.